Hello, good evening, and welcome. I'm your host, HoboJoe, and we're on the HoboJoe Show. We're broadcasting live to you. We're back at the Mojave Desert Safe House in a deep underground non-military facility, streaming live on YouTube and across all networks, both secure and unsecure, AM, FM, broadband, 4G LTE. We're also on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music. So that's also down below in the descriptions if you're interested in listening to that as a podcast form. Tonight's show, we're talking about the end of Season 1. This is Season 1 for us. We're getting ready for the holidays and Fish Tank Season 2, so we're going to be winding down with this weekly show and ending it all with the last couple tiers of the Conspiracy Iceberg, along with some other maybe sprinkled in random things. As usual, we're going to be doing our live call-in segment, and that will be through Discord. We'll send a link out about halfway through the show. And since tonight is the end of Season 1, we will allow callers to call in about whatever they want to talk about. It is the end of the season, so it's your show. So, we're going to go ahead and move on to our sponsor. With me, we have a co-host, Mr. NSTR. And our sponsor for the show is NSTR, his website, with beautiful, lovely clothes. He's added some new items to purchase. Let's take a look at them. My favorite, personally, is actually this hoodie right here, with this wild insignia logo with nothing significant to report written on it. And it's made from cotton sourced, 100% cotton on the face there. It says there in the description. And it's really comfy for the winter time. This is his YouTube. Please, if you can, go ahead and subscribe to him. He should have a lot of stuff coming out in the near future. All right, let's make sure our crunchy tunes are still going. I want to make sure we have those beats. There we go. Mr. NSTR, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Awesome, man. Glad to be on the show with you.
Glad to be here too.
Yeah. It's the season ending. How do you feel?
Kind of disappointed. Kind of sucks. I was having fun with this.
We're going to be back, though, for more. Don't you all worry. So the first topic for tonight that we're talking about is from the... Let's first of all, let's rewind that back a little bit. We have to move into our cabin, as usual, right? Let's get our overlays set up. A little... Let's see... Where did you go? Here we go. All right. Here is his hashtag, Mr. NSTR's hashtag for Instagram, if you want to follow him there. And then we also have 99-cent TTSs that are read by an Indian woman. Is she a real woman? I don't know. That's up to you to decide. And then we have our wonderful window capture. All right. And then I have an image of the Conspiracy Iceberg that we can look at real quick. So we have the last couple tiers that we're talking about tonight. And I think this one starts out in tier 8 here for Reality Hacker. And it says, at extreme depths. I can't read that, that's so small. Alright, there we go. Alright, tier 8. At extreme depths, the very structure of reality as you know it vanishes. Able to control the flow of having mastered the world and those around you. One last question remains. Can you master yourself? So in this tier here, we have somewhere in here, we have microchips found in fossils. That's what we're talking about first. Microchips found in fossils.
Yeah, that's true. That's wild.
Right? So, right off the bat, looking into this topic, there was a couple things, a couple articles that were saying that this is a conspiracy theory. It's been debunked. However, if you've been around these kinds of topics since 2016, who knows what the reality is in today's day and age. I mean, it could be anything. Anything could be happening right now. Who knows? You know, the Smithsonian, all these organizations probably covered up all kinds of things, giants, etc., etc. So who knows? But there's a couple TikToks, and I don't really like TikToks, but there's this one here. And the volume might be a little too low. Let's turn down the tunes.
No way. That's the same dude. I sent you a link to him.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even know who this is.
I just found him.
Really? Oh man.
He's pretty knowledgeable.
Had a microchip found in it. They later said was microchips found in fossils is not a joke, and there have been fossils that have been opened up and things found that were initially said to be microchips.
Can you hear that?
For example, a T-Rex bone that had a microchip found in it. They later said was a fossil of some ancient bacteria. Another one they said was just
It needs to be a little bit louder.
A whole lot like a microchip. This all relates back to a concept called the Great Reset. Short version for now, the Great Reset says that we constantly exist on a cycle. The idea being we'll all get wiped out, there will be a reset, and then those people.
Oh man, why is the volume so low?
Many million years from now, we'll find remnants of our existence and then gather them. Microchips found in fossils is not a joke, and there have been fossils that have been opened up and things.
Yeah, you just got super quiet.
Alright, how about that?
For example, a T-Rex bone that had a microchip found in it. They later said was a
A little
fossil
better.
of some ancient bacteria. Another one they said was just a bone fragment that looked a whole lot like a microchip. This all relates back to a concept.
I think it's just a
called
quiet video.
Short
Probably.
version for now, the
Probably gonna
Great
blow out
Reset
everybody's
says
eardrums.
that
But essentially what this is talking about, right? So
the idea being we'll
not really important, but just some nice fun video to look at in the background. But there's these images here, really small, but they have these fossils that they found, and they're saying that these funny looking zigzags and designs could possibly be these ancient fossils that were lost to history, and it kind of dips its toes into a couple other conspiracies that are out there. And I want to say the last week's episode, there was a caller who called in and we were talking about Tartaria. So it kind of goes into the topic of cyclical timeline of humanity, how we start through our civilization.
That repeating cycle.
Right, and then some sort of great catastrophe happens and it wipes everything out, or almost everything, and then it just sort of resets again. And we kind of pop back up again and go through the motions of rediscovering fire and everything else, all the technological advancements. And there may be these ancient remnants left behind from our past. And so there's these fossils that they're saying are microchips in them from that past in this theory. Here's a nice one that's an arrowhead.
In an arrowhead. That's wild.
In an arrowhead. But people were saying that it was debunked because this could be like bacteria fossils and all kinds of stuff like that. And I mean, I thought bacteria was tiny, so I don't understand like the concept of fossilized bacteria.
Yeah, that doesn't. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a scientist or anything, so maybe the bacteria was bigger back then. I don't know.
And
But
then
I could see that being bacteria. I thought bacteria is supposed to be microscopic.
right? It's supposed to be insignificant, little, tiny, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy. There we go. It's so loud. All right. When we talk about like Tartaria and all this like ancient reset of society, there's also some other things that were out there. There was like these fossilized hammers and other tools, and that might be going into like another conspiracy theory, but it's just fun, kind of interesting to think about with all these different little things that they found out there. then I have the next thing to talk about, which is called on the iceberg here. I think it goes down the next tier. Let me pull it up. And I feel like you're really quiet now. Go ahead and talk. Let me just make sure I have that set right. Yeah, hold on. Nope. All right, hold on. Stand by. Talk again.
Check, check, check.
And again.
Check, check, check.
And one more time.
Check, check, check.
All right, yeah. That's probably a lot better. I think it has.
George.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. Um, if I turn down the volume here, does that affect you? Say something else again.
Check, check, check.
All right. Cool. See, the problem is now the
All of it is loud.
all of it's loud.
It's not that bad.
All right. Well, anyway. So the next thing that we have on the docket here, let me go ahead and pull it back up. All right, we're talking about shoot, it's called berries. Hold on. I got the iceberg right here.
Sorry, that was muted.
The next tier down. And where did it go? Barry Bush's missing people theory, right? So when you're looking into this, right, Barry Bush's missing people theory, I'm looking it up. I'm trying to find information about what the hell this means. And this is essentially people tying together a couple different conspiracies into one. I don't know why it's so far down in the iceberg, but I thought it was interesting. It's something that I enjoyed learning about in the past. But what it is you have the missing 411, right? There's these people that go missing in national parks, like 411 around there. Like I think it's like every year or something like that. And nobody knows why or how. There's no reasonable explanation on how this happens. There's no bodies in some cases. If there is a body found, it has like bones that are found years later in areas that have been searched already. They have no signs of an animal attacking them. There's no blood. Sometimes they will have articles of clothing or items that will resurface or re-show up in areas that have already been searched.
Nice.
Right? You folded up nice clothes, things like that. So you have this whole theory about the national parks across America and people going missing for unexplainable reasons. And then there's a link between that and people talking about berry bushes. And they think that in the national parks, people are eating these mysterious berries and then somehow disappearing. And Mike here in the chat is saying 411 is reference to the cop code for info, hence missing 411 or missing info. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense than what I was saying. But so yeah, these people go missing, and the theory in the iceberg is talking about berry bushes. So they think that they're trying to associate with these berries that they're eating, which I don't think is the case. And this guy kind of talks about it. I think I've seen his videos floating around YouTube. I think it says the Aid in Mattis, the Aid in Mattis or whatever. I don't know if that's his actual channel. But he's talking about the Wendigo, and he's talking about the cave systems in the national parks and stuff like that, right? So I thought that was interesting. What?
How it's all kind of like intertwined.
Yeah. There's like these maps that float around, and I actually have a picture of it right here, right? So the top is the missing people cases, and then the bottom map is the cave systems throughout the United States, and so you can kind of see how they uh co-align with each other if you were to put this overlaid on top of each other. How we have these massive cave systems in the United States, like they're in the Rocky Mountains, and you have it there over there in the Appalachias. So there's just all this space where people go missing, and they've kind of like linked it to, maybe they got lost in these big cave systems. Maybe it's mole people from Hollow Earth, or demons or something coming out there. There's all these Native American folklore and stories about how there's these ancient people that lived within the earth, and that now the Native Americans' job is to protect the entrance to these things, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So they talk a lot about this stuff. But the missing 411 started from this guy named David, and I'm gonna butcher his last name, Paulides. Paulides. And I guess he's like a retired cop or something. That makes sense for the 401 code thing that Mike in the chat was talking about. And he basically tried to put like a cop mindset, I guess you could say, an investigator's mindset to these people who went missing, and he tried to associate what are similarities in these missing cases. And I guess from what he found, I don't know if he lists it here, he probably does, but what he found is the similarities in these cases, these missing 411 cases, are strange weather events that are unforecasted. So all of a sudden there's a storm, there's a blizzard, there's thunderstorms, etc. While these people are out in the wilderness. And then there's also a similarity of fields of rock, like boulders, sides of mountains where there's just these tailings of cliffs that have like crumbled apart, just rock fields in general, open rock fields, and then like streams of water. So there's all these different things that are connected to these missing cases in similarity. They don't always have to have every single one, but that's what they find in all of these cases. And he wrote like a bunch of books, and I think they list it down here. It's like, a handful of books there that he wrote about this stuff. But he recently he made on Amazon. There's these documentaries that you can find, and I think if you're an Amazon Prime member, you could probably watch these for free. I think that's how I watched it.
I think
for
there's
free.
like one or two that are free, and then the rest of them you have to pay for.
Yeah,
Or
probably.
you subscribe to whatever other thing
Right.
you can on
Yep.
Amazon.
And the first one is just titled Missing 411. It says it came out in 2017, and that's just like the first movie that they did, the first documentary they did about this, and all of the cases, kind of boiling it down into like a general vague documentary about it all. And then he came out with The Hunted, which is more of like a hunter outdoorsman theme, where they have like they interview these people that uh the family members of people who were hunting and they went missing. So it's more of like an outdoor sportsman, huntsman theme of the missing 411. And then there's the UFO connection. So that's where the third movie where they talk about the link with UFOs and stuff. And there's actually a funny scene from the third movie where I guess there's some in Washington or Oregon. There's these migrant farm workers that were, I guess they were out there to either they were picking in a field fruits or vegetables, or they were helping like a lumberjack crew like cutting down trees or something, and they saw this pill shaped UFO floating across the sky, and they all stopped to look up, and they don't even speak a lick of English, and they're looking at this pill shaped UFO flying across the sky, and it goes and picks up like an elk. And it like sucks the elk, floats it up to the bottom of the UFO, pill UFO, but it doesn't go in the UFO. It just kind of holds it locked, hovering underneath the UFO. This elk, it's alive, and it goes to take off with it, and it like the illegals were, or the migrants or whatever you want to call them. They were saying that I guess there wasn't enough like altitude and the elk smashed into a tree, but it kept going or something. It was just
What?
it sounded so funny, like, and they had like this crazy visual. I don't even know if I can find it, but I'll probably try to look at the end of the show to see if I can find it. But there's just this like 3D reanimated visual graphics they did in the movie where they show this like animated elk smashing into a tree and then the UFO just continuing to go. But I don't even know why. It's just they had it in there and it was just nuts. Um, but they're really good movies. Really interesting to think about. I think the first one was kind of pretty dry, from what I remember, but the other two are really good. I would definitely recommend if you have Prime or whatever to go check them out. Yeah,
Yeah, they're definitely really good. I like them.
right. So that's something that's always in the back of my mind. And here's his IMDb. You know, it has all his movies and stuff. But every time I think about these movies now, every time I'm outdoors, we go hiking a lot with our dogs. I'm always thinking about like one of the other things that's a common link in the missing 411 cases is people will go by themselves somewhere. They're gonna go return to camp, or they're gonna go out to hunt in an area by themselves, or something like that. Right? They're alone.
Yeah.
And so I think to myself, like, every time I'm outdoors, I'm like, man, like, this is, if I'm alone, this is the moment where they're gonna snatch me, like, whatever it is gonna get me. And there was one instance
I've
in
definitely
it's
been
it's
paranoid because of
it's
watching 411.
it's terrifying, but but there's this one in one of the movies they were talking about this guy, his wife left to the store, and they lived in the middle of nowhere, and he's alone in the house in the middle of nowhere. The store's like an hour away, and the wife comes back and he's gone. His car keys, everything's at the house. So somehow whatever's taking these people has just sucked the dude out from his house. So it's like you're not even safe in your own home. It's just whatever's happening is it's just nuts. It's just absolutely bonkers.
I found that video you're looking for.
You found it? No, send me a link
I sent it. I sent it
in
in the
the
chat.
in the
You gotta
chat.
get oh yeah, about 45 seconds.
Oh, okay.
I think it's it. If it's not, it's just a weird coincidence.
All right. You said it's 45 seconds in.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Well, it's an ad. Never mind. It adds 30 seconds.
If it's the wrong video, then it's really weird.
Oh, it is. Yeah, this is it. See, this is. It just looks so goofy. It's like floating away. I think this is the trailer, so it doesn't show like the full thing. But it's just, look how goofy this is. This little UFO comes, goes whoop, and then these. Imagine you're a migrant worker and out here lumberjacking. You came to America for a better life or whatever the case may be.
Right back home.
You don't even speak English, and then all of a sudden you look up and you see this happening.
Nope, I'm out.
It's just, how do you even like process that? What a trip. That would be nuts. But yeah, this is the trailer for that the UFO connection one, so that's definitely would recommend looking it up if that tickles your fancy. It definitely gave me a new perspective on the outdoors. But we still go hiking and stuff, so it's not like I'm not really that worried about it, but it's interesting to think about, all these caves.
As long as the thought is in the back of your mind,
Yeah, keep you on your toes.
At least prevents you from becoming one of the missing 411.
Yeah, always carry.
Always.
Yeah. And then the third thing that I had to talk about here, let's see here, is I gotta pull up the iceberg again. There it is, and it's further down. It's on the last tier, tier 0. So this thing goes 1 through 9, and then the ending is tier 0, the rebirth. Everything in the end becomes true. Now, with this part of the iceberg, I feel like the deeper you go into it, some of these things are really vague to find information on, and a lot of these things are connected to each other. They're very similar. But the first on the top left says Bank of Souls. So I looked up what the Bank of Souls is, right? And there's this thing in Judaism that talks about how there's a limited number of souls on the earth, and there's this tree of souls, and it takes souls and it puts souls out into the world when a baby's born or whatever. There's like there's a limited number of souls, right? So then there's there's other people that may or may not have souls that are walking amongst us, and they may be there to either there wasn't enough souls for them to have, or they're there to for God to give us challenges in our life. They're not necessarily there as a person, but they're there as a question to
Non-playable
make sure that
character.
we're on the right path with what we're doing in our life. And so I thought this was really interesting because essentially what it's talking about with these tree of souls, it reminds me of something that I heard from another YouTuber who goes by the name Bellagio Sampler, and he's got this old YouTube video from another channel he had called Central Happenings Network that he put up on BitChute, right? It's a re-upload. But this was like a phenomenal video that he had about the NPC theory, right? Have you ever heard of the NPC theory?
No, I've heard of. Well, I think I have. I'm just not familiar. Like I've never looked into it, so I think I've heard of it like through people talking about NPCs.
Right, it's okay. It's just a limited number of souls, so not all of us. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No. So you know what an NPC is, right? When you play a video game,
Yeah, there's the little characters that they're just in the game. You can
they're
interact
not
with them. They
you.
don't really do anything.
They're not the main character. They're just put in the game to provide a quest or to be, killed. I guess I don't know if that's the right word to use, but sounds really
Yeah, they're there to
like
build the story.
evil. But
Basically.
yeah, they're just part of the computer, part of the game, right? They're not the character being played. And so when you talk about the tree of souls and how there's this finite number of souls, it really reminds me of the NPC theory. And I'll have it play in the background. Maybe if I close an ad.
Of course, there's an ad. There's always an ad.
I mean, we all have to make our bread, but
That is true.
it shows there's like a political rally or whatever, and these people are reciting a chant. It just kind of goes over like how people are really programmable. But this is a really good video, and I'll definitely have to have somebody put the link in the chat.
NPC theory is a term that was coined recently by the lords and anons out there of the boards. This theory is a catch-all
Quantum
phrase
Fluctuation asked if
that
there's
stands
any
for
NPCs in here right now.
non-player character, based
I don't
off
know,
of
man.
video
Sometimes I feel like an
games.
NPC.
And it describes the people as soulless husks who live on a robotic schedule. They lack inner thought, inner scene creation, and imagination. And they rebuttal constantly with catchphrases and popular slogans. But this theory goes much deeper, and I will share with you the finer details of the NPC theory. The
You able to get it?
NPC theory is not new.
Uh,
It goes back
can you do me a
to the
favor?
times
Yep.
of the
I'll put it in the
foundation
chat.
of the Gnostics,
Okay.
a
Can you
radical
repost it into
splinter
the
of Christianity.
YouTube chat?
They believed in 3 grades of human spirit, and the general titles of these 3 were somatics/hylics. 2 is
Something wrong
psychics,
happened?
and 3
Yeah, I did
is
that thing again where it
pneumatics.
doesn't
The first, the somatics, are
It doesn't
the
paste as a
NPCs,
link.
basically. All they care about is fleshly, worldly ideas.
Oh.
They are deeply rooted in the things they have collected. They hold great worth in those things. They are full of ego, and they lack the certain qualities of the latter two. The next level is the psychics, also called psychical. These souls are
I'm playing this and I have the fucking iceberg still showing up.
They can accept that there is a world beyond the flesh, however, they are still fighting between what their eyes see and what their heart feels.
Yeah, it doesn't want to
And the
hyperlink
third
it.
is pneumatics.
That's okay.
For some
From
reason.
pneuma meaning air. These souls retain a living connection with understanding the human spirit. These souls retain
That
a
is
living
trash.
connection with their spirit.
All
They
right.
have an understanding of that spirit, that it's a spark of God's light, and in effect, a part of God Himself. These souls have attained Gnosis through learning and experience. So, this mumbo jumbo I just read is the basis of NPC theory, at least the first level.
You got it.
is.
Okay.
Now, the average person out there just sees these NPCs as mindless robots or zombies. Other
Somebody already
names
posted it.
for these people are the NPC.
Yeah, so one of the mods reposted the link for the BitChute for the video. So it's a really good video, and we'll talk about it here in a second. There's also the link for the Discord for our call-in segment. If you're interested in calling in about anything conspiracy related or spooky ghosts, cryptids, Bigfoot, etc., please go ahead and use that link to join the Discord. Hop into one of the voice channels, and we'll meet you in there for the show. But yeah, so this guy goes into a lot of detail on the NPC theory, and I think it's very relatable to the Tree of Souls and this tier 0 of the conspiracy iceberg, and how there's these finite number of souls out there, and how there's these people that you talk to in your everyday of life who just they seem too generic, too bland, they obviously have their talking points from the television, from media. They have their Disney World year passes that they go every week, and they go on Instagram and Twitter to find their favorite celebrities and stalk them so that they can meet them at the local taco shop and get their jersey or baseball bat signed by them. Just wild, crazy things like that. The type of people that are like, oh man, voodoo donuts, that stuff's crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and stand in line for 3 hours so that I can get my specialty donut or whatever. These types of people are the types of the NPCs that are out there. The people that did not get the soul, you know.
Yeah.
If it's true, who knows. And Slays Daily says, what if people are descendants of clones?
Right. That would be crazy.
Right, and then Jason Flanagan says there are no NPCs, only smooth-brained druggies. There's definitely a lot of smooth-brained
Voodoo
druggies
donut
out there.
sucks.
Yeah, I've done a lot of traveling, and I've been through like a couple airports that have voodoo donuts in the airport, and it's just I don't know, I wasn't impressed. It also seems like too much of the satanic. Oh, look at us, we're edgy, cool. Here's a pentagram on the donut with bacon or something. It's just
a pentagram on the donut with bacon.
Yeah, I don't know, not my cup of tea. But yeah, let's see. Do we have any callers? Looks like there's not. So if we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next couple of topics. But if you do hop into the Discord for a call-in, don't just wait. We'll be in there in a second. As soon as we notice that you're in there, don't worry. All right, and then what do I have here? Oh, I've got your topics. Are you ready to go?
I sure am. Oh.
All right, here's the first one. Here's this one. What was this one about?
How I got to this.
Which conspiracy was this?
It was the endless elevators.
It wasn't the NPC theory?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I couldn't find anything on it except for this.
Trying to see which way what, baby?
Yeah, baby. All right. Which link?
He's doing better than we are.
Yeah. Which link?
If you want to start with I guess the first one. You just go top to bottom.
Yeah, and so not this one.
Yeah, not this one.
Damn it. All right, we'll come back to it. We'll circle back.
He looks like he's having a good time though.
Yeah. Did this one watching evolution occur?
No. I should have taken you to solar plexus clown gliders.
Oh. All right. Not this one. Hold on. Stand by.
You might have to scroll down more. They have ads on that site, and you have to scroll down pretty far.
Oh, okay. No, I think it would have shown up. It's.
Oh yeah, never mind. Yeah, that's not it.
Oh, wait, hold on. I got the link. Golden Threats Endless Elevator.
No. You may resend it.
No. Not the Wonder
It is
Wonder
one
whatever.
aggressive.
Why does it come up like this?
I don't know. Oh, it's because you have them all at once. That's
The fuck?
weird.
Why did it do that?
Here.
I got it.
Okay.
Piece of shit. There we go.
All right.
Okay, what the hell is
So-
this?
Okay, so it's really weird. They're basically like these clowns, or they're just these beings that fly around and they mess with people. They can have positive interactions and negative reactions, like making you feel euphoric or altered states of consciousness, heightened creativity, or anxiety and fear. So this one was I just like randomly picked this topic based off of how it sounded. It just sounded crazy.
I mean, they look
But as I
crazy.
started digging. I was reading all this. It kind of made sense. It talks about quantum consciousness. It's a theory that suggests consciousness may be a product of quantum processes occurring within the brain. Where did that other part go? It might have been on a different site. But if you want to pull up the YouTube video, he explains it a lot better than I can. Basically, they're like these beings, and people, if they say solar plexus clown gliders, it kind of opens up the doors, and these are like demons, and they can.
You
mess
said it's
with
on a
you.
different link?
Yeah, I didn't send it. I don't think I saved it.
It's the
There's
YouTube video?
Another description. Yeah, but there's a YouTube video that I sent you.
You want me to open that up?
Yeah, if you can.
Yeah.
And basically, this guy. So if you go to where
The
is
mobile
it?
game?
1539, he kind of starts talking about decalcifying the brain and stuff.
Oh, so this is that YouTuber again. So
Yeah.
his thing is Wendigoon. If you guys want to check him out, he's got a lot more subscribers than us. 1538, you said?
Cryptids can pass
Yeah.
seemingly out of our view or understanding. It could be because the
So he's kind of talking about another one of the topics, but now right here is where he starts talking about decalcifying your body and your mind, and then he goes into how the clowns come into play.
people were, and seemingly how in contact they were with supernatural entities. All things that we now can't see or make contact with. The idea being that the powers that be are filling our body with these chemicals as a means of immobilizing us in a spiritual sense. So things like meditation or concentration can work as a means of decalcifying our body, or in other words, reach enlightenment. And you could go even further with this and imply that those who have reached enlightenment, or the next stage of existence, whatever that may be, simply found an appropriate way to decalcify their own body. I'm gonna put a slight info hazard or
So I think with decalcifying your own body, you're able to
term.
access
If-
these, like some of these other topics in the iceberg. I think you have to decalcify your body to access these things.
Like to see them in reality.
Yeah, to see some of this stuff.
sort of mental
I
Like
think
right now, he's talking about, he goes into,
He goes into the clowns.
yeah, so apparently, I don't know if he said it or not, but I think it's, if you say solar plexus clown glider, you allow these beings to come into your life or something.
We're all
Or
fucked
if
now.
it's a he says
because
you
of
have to say
you.
something and it allows it to enter your body, basically.
All right.
picture up here. Solar plexus clown gliders is supposed to be a sort of mental virus. Essentially, the idea is that saying the phrase that I just said or viewing this image directly causes you to become opened up to a sort of demon that enters your body through the solar plexus, which is one of the chakras of the body. Those who continuously hear the word said over and over or stare at images like this for a long amount of time not only open their body up to it more, but make the demon more powerful. With some even saying that they have seen the faces following it after being subjected to this demon, and it therefore is a sort of curse that could be passed around online, and was in a chain email in the 1990s. Similar to the despair code, there's another theory that the reason this exists.
So basically, what he's saying is that it's
as part of simulation.
I've seen
theory,
there's another thing I
this
clicked
is a
on,
sort of
and I don't know if
glitch
it
or
applies to
hiccup
this, but
in
there's like a
system,
virus
that if
that
someone
the
can figure
CIA
out how to
created that is it's kind of like a cyber virus, but it goes into your brain and somehow infects your mind, and these things will do that basically.
Like a meme.
Yeah, like somehow it messes up your wiring or something, and then you can stop it here.
All right.
Unless you want to talk about aliens, parasites
No.
as skin. Okay. I just thought it was really weird. Like, it kind of reminded me of, or the picture that he showed reminded me of, I don't know if you ever heard of I think the Russians did it. It was like this experiment, and I don't know if it's true or not. It might just be another thing, but where the Russians did this experiment on prisoners or their soldiers or something, where they kept them up for like 30 days. I think we talked about it before, actually.
Yeah, the Russian sleep experiment. I guess it's
Yeah.
I think somebody was saying that it's one of those what do they call them? It's like those it's like a fake story somebody made up just for fun, fanfic kind of thing.
That's what the picture reminded me of, and I feel like that's kind of where this came from. Is it kind of stemmed from this? It just gave me weird vibes.
I think
But-
it's interesting that he was saying that it is a demon. You were saying it could be a virus, but he was also saying it could be a demon, and that you're
Yeah.
allowing these things into your life by saying their name or whatever. But so like a lot of demon stuff is like you're able to get rid of the demon through Christ, obviously, but also what helps is knowing the demon's name and then banishing the demon with its name. So it's just kind of funny that it mentions that these things are put into your life, into your being by knowing its name or saying its name or seeing the image of it, and that it could be. It's just interesting because it sounds like demons to me. I mean, a lot of these things sound like demons to me, so I'm a little biased about that, but it's just what I was
No,
thinking
I would
about.
agree. I think a lot of it does sound like demons. A lot of it sounds like religious things, or like you can tie it somewhat to religious, or it has like religious background to it. Like you said, like if you say its name, that's how you get rid of it. You just got to say its name and then cast it out. And I think a lot of this, I think like what this one is more of like you're speaking something into existence and you're just kind of allowing it into your life,
Manifesting it.
Yeah.
Have you heard about those people on the internet? The manifestors?
The
People,
manifestors?
there's all these
No.
these kids that are saying that I'm gonna manifest $1 million in a Lamborghini and stuff, and that apparently that does a thing that happens.
So you just you just say
You
that
just
it's gonna happen and it happens.
visualize,
You just say it a
you
bunch of times.
visualize success, you visualize your Lamborghini, and then it just shows up
I
in your
mean,
driveway.
It does sound pretty crazy. Like obviously, I don't think you can just imagine a Lamborghini in your driveway and that happens. But I think there is some truth in that. Like if you keep that image in your head of what you're trying to achieve, and I think eventually you'll get there. It just naturally happens. Like you're guiding yourself to it, so you're putting yourself in positions to get there. And part of that is having the right mindset for it. But
I'm
I've
gonna go
never
off
heard of
on
it.
I'm gonna go off on a tangent slightly.
Oh,
Right.
please
So
do.
we're talking about
Ready for it.
manifesting, right? And so, do you remember? Man, this was weird. So at the rifle range, right? Like when you're qualifying,
Yeah.
do you remember them telling you to doing exercises where we had to close our eyes with our rifle and manifest success by thinking about shooting the targets?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I think you're on your own on
You
this
never
one.
did that? Oh my god! Don't tell me that.
I think somebody was messing with you.
Are you sure?
I don't remember doing that.
All right, me neither.
Maybe.
Anyway, so what about the clowns?
So So with the clowns, we're gonna go into the next topic, which is gonna be the Santiago theory of cognition.
All right.
This I think kind of ties into the clowns, because to me the clowns is kind of like I don't know, it's like a, to me it's like something you imagine, like it's an entity. It's like a way you can tie stuff in, you know, if something's going wrong in your life, like it's something to tie into like why it's going wrong, right? Like it's like an explanation of why things are going wrong in your life. All right, so with the Santiago theory, so in this YouTube video, it's pretty interesting. I can't remember exactly where I stopped. I wrote it down. So we're gonna watch from the start till about 2 minutes and 34 seconds. Honestly, I started watching this and I almost got sucked into it. It's pretty crazy and wild. But he talks about what the Santiago theory is, and essentially it is these two guys in, I think it's in Chile, or whatever, came up with this theory that everything in the world has consciousness, and that based on how certain things interact with the environment will develop conscious, or like allows beings to express certain levels of consciousness. But I'll let him talk. He can explain it way better than I can.
And everything that's alive does that, whether it's a single cell organism or something as complicated as us or whales or dolphins or elephants, or ecosystems potentially, although whether it extends to a planet, for example, they weren't sure about that. I'm not sure about that, but it's an interesting question. So they said, wherever you find life, you find mind. It's not about a nervous system, it's about being alive. And that even a single cell has a very simple form of mind. Well, the complexity theory work I've been doing, it's all about how groups of interacting individuals self-organize into larger scale structures if they fulfill a handful of simple criteria. And ant colonies are really good ways to explain this. So you need a lot of ants. 3 ants don't make an ant colony. 25 do. If you buy one of those little ant colonies from the back of a comic book, they come with 25 ants, and they build tunnels, and they make food lines, and they even make a little cemetery when ants die that they can put them, which is as far away from the colony and from the food source as possible. And it
This is
turns out
probably
if
the
you watch
craziest
ant
part here.
colonies,
They put dead ants in a graveyard. I didn't know ants did
they
this.
do all these organizational things, but by the time more than half of them have died, they no longer build the cemetery. And then by the time there are 3, they're no longer really doing anything. So you have to have a certain number to get this self-organization. And the more you have, the more complex the self-organization. So 100 ants isn't the same as 1,000 ants, isn't as complicated as a 10,000 ant colony.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pause it real quick. So
Okay.
does this? So to me, this is what this sounds like. This sounds like hive mind theory. Have you heard of hive mind theory?
Yeah, I think I ended up watching like way more than I should have of this video. And I think he talks about it a little bit later on down the road, but it's basically like, you know, they're all perform like a certain function for the colony, and if one of them doesn't do it, basically the colony won't survive.
There's like a minimum number too, so it's like a grouping, and then the grouping is able to like have this function.
Yeah.
Not as an individual, but like as a mass of people, or whatever, right? So, and it just makes me think about how like
I think that's kind of what they're trying to explain, is like basically like all of these things, like if you have like the hive minds, like you have a ant colony, right? And you need 25 ants to have a colony, because without 25, you know, they can only do so much. And with what they were saying with the theory is that like basically the way the ants interact with each other will determine how much each of the ants puts out. So like they somehow in a weird way like signal each other on how much effort they need to put out, if that makes sense.
right. So, have you ever thought about like it kind of makes you think of like hive mind theory and how we're like all connected, right? And there's sort of this group think of like the greater good, the end goal that's trying to be achieved. And it also reminds me of, have you ever heard of the Emerald Tablets?
That sounds kind of familiar.
The Emerald Tablets of Thoth or Thoth?
Maybe
Like
not.
so there's
I
this,
don't think so.
this Egyptian deity that's represented by like a crane or whatever, but then it also was like a living person in history as well. Some guy named Hermes Trismegistus or something like that. I'm gonna totally fuck up the name, but they found, I guess, in Egypt or somewhere, they found these tablets that were made out of emerald, and they talk about like a lot of crazy stuff. But one of it talks about like the Akashic records. And have you heard of the Akashic records?
Nope.
So it references it like it's an actual physical library, but essentially, like, have you ever done in your life something where you didn't study for it, you never thought about this before, but somehow you recalled an answer, or you had this idea that you can't explain where it came from. You just had the answers ready.
Yeah, I think that's happened a couple times.
Kind of like so that's what they call the Akashic record. It's not a physical library. It's the ether of minds of information that's out there, not physically tangible. It comes to you. This information that's accessible through whether it be the ether, DNA, hive mind theory. We're all connected, etc., etc. But there's a lot of interesting things to think about there. But that's just what it reminded me of. And Jason Flanagan in the chat says, to me, it sounds like he just tried to say the cells have a mind because ants do, or something. Right.
Yeah, I think that's basically what he was trying to say.
At the beginning, yeah, he's talking about cells or something.
I struggled so hard trying to like research this. I was getting so confused.
Yeah.
For a reason. But from there we can go into the next topic if you want.
Okay. I mean, that's up to you.
Where are we at in the video? Yeah, it's about the end of the video anyways. He starts going on and talking about like all these crazy concepts.
More ants.
Yeah.
Right.
So this next one is called, or it's going to be about our so I'm going to butcher this, archontic genetic engineered entities.
You know, something from doing this show, I've really enjoyed this show so far. Obviously, this is season 1 ending, but I've learned that public school comprehension probably wasn't taught very well, or maybe I'm just an idiot.
No, I would agree.
So we're looking at Ascension Glossary.
Yeah, so there should be another link.
Okay.
It's the Wondergressive website. They have like everything there. So if you go to that and then I gotta pull it up actually. There we go.
You want to look at the Wondergressive one first?
Yeah, we'll look at that one first. And then, all right, so this one was basically, so I don't even know how to like, it's basically like there's these humans that are not humans, but humanoids. They're like AI drone things that look humanoid, but they're engineered. And supposedly it's gonna be like the new, I guess, species.
The next generation.
This one got very confusing to me, so because there were so many terms that I've never heard of before, like archontic, for example. So it's theorized to be genetically manipulated, or these entities are theorized to be genetically manipulated or created by the so-called archons, which is a term hailing from Gnostic tradition, which I'm not familiar with, and I didn't get a chance to look that up. Yeah.
So it's like the belief in like a higher being without accepting that it's Christ as the higher being. It's just you believe that the universe, there's something out there that created everything. And then it also goes into like a lot of like occult stuff as well. And it's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo. But anyway.
That's crazy. So the archons are considered rulers of humanity, often associated with manipulation, control, and secrecy. These genetically engineered entities, or SPEs, according to some theories, are tools utilized by archons to control or influence humanity, which is kind of weird because I think it ties into the NPC thing. Like you talked about, like there's these people that are there to just,
they're not really people. They don't have souls.
They're not really people. They don't have the souls. They're just kind of just there to, decorate the scene, I guess, and assist in storytelling or making things happen. And I think it's weird that these things are also a thing. Or these things are, keep calling them things. These entities are used for manipulation, control, and secrecy. And I think that's kind of weird because we're talking about conspiracy theories and all that. And then there's this other
Creatures.
species creature thing that I've never heard of. I don't know if anybody in this chat has actually ever heard of archons.
It sounds like Star Trek stuff, so maybe there might be a lot of people that.
It is. So I was going through. So I couldn't really find anything on them other than Wonder Aggressive and this other website. So if you want to go back to that other one you're on.
Okay. This one.
Let's see. Yep, that one. I'll pull it up as well. So this is where I found more stuff. This is the Ascension Glossary. I've never ever heard of this website before, so I don't know how accurate it is. But it basically explains more in depth of what these things are. So SPE actually stands for Suppressor Parasite Entity, and it's an artificial intelligent drone, or Archon, sent by higher-ups in the negative alien agenda, or those entities that source from imposter spirit and are a type of military AI. So an imposter spirit is defined as an entity or a human being that is saying words or expressions or making representations that it does not embody nor comprehend, nor behave or act in accordance with. A person who pretends to be someone else in order to deceive others, especially for fraudulent gain. It's also the Luciferian or Satanic spirit, which promotes false light authority. So they're saying that these SPEs, these suppressor parasite entities, are basically demonic or come from Lucifer, and they're used to push agendas and just mess with people. They're like I guess like the negative NPCs is how I imagine it. They're like the ones that are going in there to, kind of guide everything that's happening and make sure that it doesn't get messed up and just keep, I guess, the agenda rolling. I picked like the worst topics, man, because I could not find anything on any of this.
No, you're good, dude. Trying to find you reminded me of something, so I'm trying to find some like pictures or whatever. But there's people that here's one.
And apparently they also have implant tentacles.
Implant tentacles.
Yeah, they most of them are located and palpitated for on the temporal areas of the skull, above the ears.
It reminds me of this. So, what does this look like to you?
I'm not gonna lie, it looks like an Afghan prayer rug.
Oh, okay. It's like microchips or something, but I think this was like remade in AI.
Like a
or
circuit
whatever.
board. Okay.
So there's
my
like
mind was completely elsewhere.
There's like this theory out there. Shit. Microchip, being trash.
We just took a hentai turn.
Yeah. So microchips, right? So there's this like theory out there that they are computers. Microchips are like these demonic sigils or like sigils or symbols, kind of like pentagrams and stuff, and they're all technologies like satanic in general. And now with the use of AI, right, we have these AI image generators and these like Twitter has Grok now that you can ask questions and stuff. So it's really you're not really talking to artificial intelligence, you're talking to a demon that has been manifested to the physical realm through these devices, through microchips, through computers. And AI isn't really who you think you're talking about or who you think you're talking to. And it's really just essentially just Satan or Lucifer that you're getting this information from.
Basically, what you're saying is like technology comes from the archons because they're the superior, based off of the Gnostic traditions. They're the superior race or superior. Let me pull up that article.
If that's what they say, then I mean, maybe that's what they believe. But in no way would a demon be superior than us.
Well, no, I mean or not superior. I can't find the. But basically, they're from the imposters. They're sourced from the imposter spirit or Lucifer. So they're
right, and that's what it reminds me of is these the theory about how like what I was just saying, microchips and demons and stuff. So I just thought that tied in pretty well.
The rulers of humanity. No, I think that does. I think that's weird. I don't know. A lot of this stuff seems to be interconnected. I don't know if it's supposed to be. Again, I'm new to all this, so I'm trying my best to learn. But
What did this guy say? My little emoji symbol's like in the way. Here's another photo of a hobo, my GBT bot. Yeah. I actually tried to image generate like a bunch of homeless people, and I guess I think Microsoft Bing has an image generator, and I got banned from Microsoft Bing AI because
we're trying to
homeless or
make
hobo,
homeless people
it's like a
offensive.
derogatory term, I guess. I guess it's like the N word of people without homes. You're not allowed to talk. It's like a slur. You can't say hobo or homeless, and you get in
That's
trouble and you
insane.
get banned.
That's wild.
It's
It's not
wild,
for freedom of speech.
right? But I've never thought about the Archon thing before. That was pretty interesting.
I've never heard of them, so it's all new to me, and I thought that was pretty interesting as well. Like, I don't know. The more we dig into this, like, it's so hard for me to even talk about this stuff because I don't understand most of it. But the more we dig into it, like, the more, even though the more insane it gets, the more, I guess, plausible,
Right.
like, possible.
There's
it
just a
gets as
lot
well.
of wild, wacky things out there. See if I can adjust the volume on this.
Trying to get you one more.
You got another one?
Yeah, I think I brought it up already to you. But have you heard of this new movie that came out? I think it's new. I don't know if it is, but it's called Leave. I think it's Leave the World Behind.
Oh, I think you're mentioning briefly. What?
Yeah,
brief summary. What is it about?
I just heard about it today, so I didn't get a chance to really look into it. But I'm gonna send you the link for the trailer. So a friend of mine sent me a bunch of links to like I don't have TikTok, but they sent me a bunch of TikTok videos. I don't know how to get them on here. I dropped the trailer for it in the chat. But basically, this movie came out on Netflix, and it's supposedly it's based on a book, but from the TikTok videos I gathered, it's like a warning, or there's just a lot of weird coincidences. Again, I didn't get to research anything.
Wow. And this is an Obama-funded movie?
Supposedly. I don't know how true that is.
You know what this reminds you of? Speaking of Obama. You seen that photo of him in that weird costume?
No.
Probably been scrubbed from the internet. This one.
Deer can swim and walk underwater.
Who?
Old Dutch master said deer can swim and walk underwater.
What?
I think he was referring to what I was talking about, the deer at the Statue of Liberty. Bro, what is that?
So the deer... Oh, because the Statue of Liberty is on an island, right? So
That's not him. There's no way.
It doesn't look like him?
I mean, it does.
Oh. Nope, don't want to go here. Nope. How do I make this bigger?
I just keep clicking the links.
It didn't work. Here we go. Doesn't look like him?
I mean, I think it does look like him. I don't know. It's just weird.
You've never seen this before?
No, I've never seen this.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Chris Turner.
Yeah. What a trip.
That's pretty weird. Was this like a party or something that he went to, like a Halloween
I
party?
guess so. Who's that next to him? That's some like actor or something, some famous person.
I have no idea who that is. That actually looks like damn, what's his name?
I don't know. Oh, okay. That makes sense, Jason. I
His
understand what
name's
you're
Big
saying.
C.
Zagudo? Christopher Lynch fan club meetup on the 18th of December. Oh, anonymous, thank you for the subscription. Well, clearly, if you were a part of the Christopher Lynch fan club, you would know it's the Big God fan club. But I'm looking forward to the meetup. Do you have any other topics to go over?
I do not. I had one. It was called the the sky
snag?
snag theory, but I couldn't really find anything on it. I found one video. It had like 14,000 views, but it was just it was a video of like a UFO, and then it was talking about how UFOs are made or something.
I briefly looked at it, and it was like, it's just talking about the atmosphere, like gravity. Like gravity's
yeah,
like
I'm not even gonna bother that one.
Snagging stuff out of the sky, dust and meteors and aliens.
Yeah, somehow they break through some sort of barrier or something, and they get like enveloped in gravity, turn into UFOs.
So this is episode 4 officially, right? But we started with episode 0, so this is the 5th episode of this season, right? So this is the season end of season 1, and we're only, to clarify, we're only ending the season of this show, this weekly show, for the holidays and for Fish Tank season 2. We're still going to be doing other things. There's still going to be other things going on. One thing I do want to do is, with Fish Tank season 2 coming out, maybe like a weekly recap kind of podcast show. Going over the current events that's happened in the show. So if you're into that, go ahead and subscribe. Definitely look at my co-host's links that are in the description. Check out his stuff. He's doing a lot of great stuff out there. He's trying to get clothes for kids and things like that. A lot of his stuff that he's working on is for the community. But definitely look into that. Let's see if this music's gonna drown everything out. Loud.
Blaze Daily says, no, it's not that loud. Blaze Daily says, have y'all heard of the Crater Earth theory?
Crater Earth?
Yeah. Never heard of that.
No, never heard of that. We'll have to look at that in the next season, right? Yeah.
Definitely put that on the list.
Yeah, we'll put it on the list. But this is definitely going to be the wrap up for this episode. We really appreciate every single one of you showing up and watching our show. And we look forward to bringing you more of season 2 of this show in the future. Thank you for being here. And definitely hit me up with any of your creepy, spooky stories, and we'll go ahead and add it to the next season. My DMs are open on Twitter, and my link is in the description. Thank you all for being here. I have never seen a baby pigeon. I don't think birds are real. God bless you all. Christ is King. Thank you all for being here. God bless. And good night.